About 20 something years ago, a man came to me with documents. He was beside himself. He was literally crying. What happened was he had an idea, massive idea. That gentleman was involved in the media and I think also in the Nigerian film industry. He was at the time. So he had this brilliant idea, according to him, for 2 years before MTN at that time came up with an amazing reality television show. I don't know how many of you remember MTN Project Fame. The guy came weeping. He said, "Oh boy, look at the documents, look at my ideas," because literally everything he had in mind, he had that project in mind to propose to MTN. You know, it was a big thing in those days. Nigeria had just gotten telecommunications, GSM, thanks to the great Ernest Ndukwe at the time, and then Obasanjo's government. And it was really a boom time for those telecommunications industries. And then the people were thinking about different things that were going to pitch to them. So this guy had the idea, but he never pitched it to MTN, only for him to wake up one day and see that show directly running on the television stations. And he was beside himself. He was like, "This was my idea. This was my idea. This was my idea. This was my idea." You know, he was just beside himself. And so many of us are in that situation. We have incredible ideas. We think about it. We talk about it. We sleep with it. We wake up with it. We've had these ideas for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, even 20 something years. Some amazing business idea that could be a game changer for us, but we never bring it to life. Has that happened to you? Type in the comment section. You've had, or you currently have, a business idea, an incredible idea. You know it's a powerful idea, but you've never brought it to life, and it's been with you. You think about it all the time, but you've never been able to do it. Are you this person? Do you have such an idea you've had? How many years have you had it? Type in the comment section. Yes, type. TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all of you, everyone, type. What is that idea you have? How many years have you had it? Type quickly. What is the business idea you have had and how many years have you had it? Just this afternoon, someone was telling me about his amazing idea about shipping fresh vegetables from Nigeria to the UK, because people from different parts of the world are doing it. In the UK, you see vegetables, basil leaves, and all kinds of vegetables shipped from Egypt, shipped from different places. And it was like, why don't I do it? You know, open a greenhouse or a vegetable farm in Jos, and then package the fresh vegetables and then ship it to the UK. And then every day there are people, entrepreneurs, who are shipping flowers from Nairobi. If you're in Kenya, if you're joining us from Kenya, you can confirm it. Like on a daily basis, they're shipping flowers to Netherlands and to other parts of Europe, making a lot of money in foreign currency. So, do you have an idea? So Chinweze says, fish farming. How long have you had that idea? The idea has never let you rest. You think about it all the time, but you've never brought it to life. So today, this is why today, and then a couple of days following today's session, we are going to be talking about why most people struggle to turn their ideas into a business, and then the simple steps to fix it, because it's actually simple. It's actually very, very simple, to fix it. So we're talking about why most people struggle to turn their ideas into a business. and the simple steps to fix it. Okay, Emmanuel on TikTok says, mine is going to the streets to cook a pot of a good food, at least one person per week. Okay, that's an idea you've had. Okay, encourage your viewers to share your. Oh, okay, no, that's from TikTok. All right, and someone says fear of the unknown. Okay, that's good. It's on TikTok. And Chinweze says he's had this idea for 3 years. That's the fish farming idea for 3 years. All right. So as you're joining us, tell me in the comment section, and those of you on YouTube watching the replay, also type in the comment section, what idea have you had in your mind? And how many years have you had this idea and you've not brought it to pass? So you can continue typing. You can continue sharing your idea. Those of you on TikTok, okay. Emmanuel says his own has been for 2 years now. He's been dreaming. He has an idea of being a chef. It's been there for over 2 years, but I fear I won't be able to something up. Okay. So after this session is for you, Emmanuel. So after this session, you will be able to turn your idea into a business that sustains you, that makes a lot of money, for you and your family. All right. And those of you joining on Facebook as well, yeah, tell me, what's your idea? What idea have you had that you've not been able to turn into a business? What is that idea you've been carrying inside you and then you've not been able to turn it into a business? Musa says, watching from Ghana. Okay, Akwaba, Musa, Akwaba. Oh, I'm sorry, Emanuela, not Emmanuel. Emanuela, all right. Okay, so I take that correction. Emanuela on TikTok, not Emmanuel. All right, good. Okay, now the biggest concern about having an idea that you never bring to life, there are so many concerns. But the biggest one among them is that so many people carry these ideas into the grave and they never do it. That is the saddest concern about this whole thing. Every day people are going to the grave carrying ideas that they never manifested. And because they never manifested these ideas into profitable businesses, they died. They could have been happier. They could have been wealthier. They could have influenced and impacted millions of lives, but they never did. That's the biggest concern. And I want you to think about just what I just said. Maybe for many of you here, what I just said might be all you have been waiting for. The fact that millions of people die every week carrying ideas that they never manifested, carrying businesses that they never even went as far as even trying to register a business name, which for many of you might be the very first initial action, the initial step of faith that you need to take even tomorrow. Maybe somebody here, the very first step is to register a business name for that idea, like tomorrow. And if you're the person that's going to do that, you actually know yourself, if you're the person, that the very first step you need to do right now to compel you to move forward is to actually register a business name. So immediately after this session, you think about a business name for your business. And then the next day, register it. Limited liability company or sole proprietorship, whatever, structure, you want to register. That might just be the very first step. But by all means, stop ignoring the ideas that you're carrying, because those ideas may have been the so-called destiny helper. Sometimes your so-called destiny helper is not a human being. It's an idea that you've been given that's never made it beyond your mind. It's all in your mind. You talk about it. You dream about it. You think about it. But then at the end of it, nothing. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Okay, look at Emanuela. That's for 2 years. She's been dreaming about being a chef. 2 good years. Can you imagine, what that represents? How much you could have made in the 2 years from that idea? You see, because they say that birds flying in the sky, flying over your head, you can never tell which one has eggs in his stomach. And so you are there running around the place looking for a job, looking for side hustle, looking for somebody who will give you money, looking for someone who is doing giveaway, looking for a visa to travel abroad or something. Whereas you've been carrying within you the very idea meant to set you free, financially, spiritually, in relationship, otherwise. Many of you are carrying, it's like someone is carrying a bowl of drinking water on his head, but he's extremely thirsty. He's dying of thirst. That's what it is like sometimes. Okay, so let me see. Okay, Musa says, what is the impact of registering your business? That's a good question. Okay, I would like someone to also answer it in the comment section. What is the impact of registering your business? Musa also says, I want to start goat farming, but I'm still battling with my capital. So we're going to talk about it. Why many people don't give birth to their business ideas. Johnny Victor says, selling packet shirts with senator wears within and outside Nigeria. I have been a fashion designer from 2018. Okay, so that's Victor's dream. Okay, now, by all means, do not carry an unbirthed dream or idea to the grave. In fact, everybody type it. Make it as a statement. I will not carry my idea to the grave. Make that confession. I will not. Type it, everybody. TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. I will not carry my idea to the grave. That will be the ultimate loss. That will be the ultimate loss. That will be the ultimate defeat. Carrying your idea to the grave and never giving it expression. And then sometimes people carry their ideas until they no longer have the energy and the motivation to do anything. So it happens to a lot of people. They start dreaming when they're 20. By 30, the realities of life, keep hitting at them. They get married, they have children, they get embroiled in paying school fees, paying rent and things. By the time they are 50, they are tired. They are exhausted. And then maybe by the time they are 55, the children have finally left home or school, or maybe their time they are turning 60, the children have finally all left home and all that. So they are now left, and then by 60, they are exhausted, tired, and they no longer think about that dream they had. Because you see, you are thinking, for instance, Emanuela is talking about being a chef. Emanuela, how old are you? So you can type it there. So maybe Emanuela is like 27 or 25 at this time. So can you imagine, life happens, she gets married, gets involved in being a mother and all that. And then by the time Emanuela is 55, 56, she's probably tired. She's become probably a grandmother, traveling from here to there, to take care of grandchildren and all that. So being a chef is no longer the thing. All right. So I will not carry my ideas to the grave. That would be the ultimate human defeat. So don't do that. And that is what this session is about, to make sure that does not happen to you. So we're going to talk about why most people struggle to turn their ideas into a profitable business, and then the simple steps to fix it. Now, but before I begin to give you what from my experience coaching individuals, what I think the things I think are the reason why people carry their ideas to the grave. I want you to type in the comment section, every single person. Remember, this is a coaching session. It's not a teaching session. So I need you to participate, because based on what you type and you tell me, I, sort of create the content to help you. So type and tell me, why do you struggle to turn your idea into a business? Musa has already mentioned something about capital. I think it's a very common one. Okay. So why do you struggle, or why do you think that people generally struggle to turn their ideas into a profitable business? Everybody type. What's the reason? What's your own reason? And why do you think people generally struggle? Okay. All right. Type. Why do you think people? Okay. All right. I've seen some responses on TikTok. Kelvin says most times it's knowledge. I agree with you. Okay. Knowledge. All right. And Desi Saparo says fear of failure. I think that's a very good one. Interestingly, on Facebook, Chinweze also says it's fear of failure. What else? Tell me, why do people struggle? Why do people struggle to turn their ideas into reality? All right. Okay. And Chinweze on Facebook says, not enough knowledge to start. Very, very true. Very valid. Yeah, sometimes we feel we don't know enough to start. All right. So keep it coming. Yeah, Takba says self-doubt and fear. Absolutely. So there's self-doubt and fear. And this is why millions of people never start. Millions of people. Every day you see people, employees, who they do not like their job. They do not like their 9 to 5. They are struggling with it. They work in a toxic environment where they abuse them, where literally they don't like to work. They have great ideas inside them of something that they could actually do by themselves, but they don't get to do it. All right. And then Musa says capital to start. Okay, so lack of capital. And Helen says, my country is not conducive for business. Okay, very good. Why? What else? Okay, so keep it coming. Okay, so while you keep that coming, so let me share a few ideas why most people struggle to turn their ideas into business. You've actually mentioned several of them, and so you are all correct. I think the most difficult struggle, the most difficult for many people, is that fear and self-doubt. So I remember when I left Shell to start what I do now, the people were like horrified. I remember a couple of Shell colleagues at the time. I remember one particular guy, he was high up there in that time. He said to me, we met at the airport. He said, oh, but how in the world did you muster the courage to quit Shell? How did you muster the courage? And then he said that his own, even if he mustered the courage, that the wife would not let him, because that the wife will never let him. It's like, how dare you? People want to get into Shell and then you're leaving. So for a lot of people, it's fear, it's self-doubt, it's the fear of the unknown, fear of the future. So if I quit this job that I have right now, what's going to happen? Okay, so there's fear, there's self-doubt, and then I think a lot of people also fear rejection. So Many people don't take action because they fear failure. They fear judgment, that people are going to judge them. Some people are even afraid of success. I used to think it was a joke, because there was a time I heard that people fear success. I thought it was only failure that people fear. But you see, people are afraid of succeeding because, like, look, when they succeed, then the people around their village will start casting eyes on them. When they succeed, then kidnappers will suddenly start noticing them and things like that. So they are afraid to succeed. And then some people, who have the religious sense, or when they succeed, that they may not be seen as godly again. So there's also fear of success. So fear and self-doubt make people not to turn their ideas, to give life to their ideas. And I remember a little bit about Oprah Winfrey. She was actually fired in her first job. She was fired in her first TV job. And it was interesting, what they gave as the excuse. They felt that she was too emotional for news reporting. So maybe she might be reporting news and then start getting excited or start crying or something, So, but she did not let that rejection define her. She did not let that define her. So today, though in recent times, she's been embroiled in so many dark controversies, but there's still a lot to learn from her resilience. All right. So fear and self-doubt keep people. All right. Is this what is keeping you? Is fear of how people will judge you, fear of failure, fear of the unknown? Is that what is keeping you? So type it, because you really need to know what is keeping you from turning your idea into a business. Okay, so somebody type number one. That's why most people struggle to turn their ideas into a business. Please type it in the comment section. Just type number one, fear and self-doubt. So people are asking, what if I fail? What if I quit Shell? What if I quit this banking job? What if I quit this tech job and start my poultry farm? What if I quit this work at First Bank and then become a chef by the street? What will people say? So that's keeping you. What will people say? How will they look at it? They will say, look at a whole meal, a beautiful woman, a graduate with master's degree, becoming a chef. So so people fear judgment. Yeah, but who cares? Who cares? Okay. So number two, overthinking and perfectionism. Please type it. YouTube, type it in the comment section. Facebook, TikTok, type it. Overthinking and perfectionism. Overthinking and perfectionism. That's a major problem. And I experienced that a little bit, until I overcame overthinking and then perfectionism, because I always want things to be very, very perfect before I start. And so many times, people spend months, even years, trying to perfect their ideas. I know when I wrote my first book, Financial Freedom for Every Youth, when I wrote that first book, oh my goodness, you need to come and see the attack of perfectionism. That book was never good enough. I will write and rewrite. I actually finished it in 6 days. But of course, I had the materials in my head and I had pieces of stories and ideas put together and then chapter draft. So when I actually sat down to finish it, to write it, I finished it in a week. But I was never satisfied. In fact, the day that Peter, my printer, was printing the book, I still added one chapter, one page. And then as I was being printing it, I felt it was not perfect. So imagine my shock when that book came out and it became an incredible sensation. became an incredible sensation. People still talk about what that book did for them up to today. I wrote that book in 2008. Until today, people talk about what it's done for them. People ordered bulk copies. They want their children to read it. People ordered bulk copies for schools. People ordered hundreds of copies of the book. And it's like, what? And I'll read it. Then Professor Patutomi, who wrote the foreword, actually read the book and it was like, wow. So at some point I just thought, were they just trying to make me feel good? But that book became, and it's still an instant sensation. But I did not, as I was putting it out there, I still did not believe it was perfect. So I was doing a lot of overthinking. All right. So, so what I discovered is that nothing is ever perfect. And if you want to perfect, you want your business idea, you want to become a chef, you want to do goat farming, you want to do tech, whatever it is, it cannot be perfect. Nothing is perfect before you start it. Okay, so you have to start and then learn and then perfect it. So I need you to write this down. Execution beats perfection. Right? Type that in the comment section. Execution beats perfection. Execution beats perfection. You see, when Jeff Bezos started Amazon, he just started as an online bookstore. If you look at their first mission statement, it had to do with bookstores, retailing books online. But you see what it has become today. Amazon has become an incredible corporate behemoth, literally global business all over the world. But it didn't start like that. It just started selling books online. And then it started growing. Can you imagine if Jeff Bezos had waited? I think it was 1993? If you know, please type that he started Amazon or thereabout. Can you imagine if he had waited until Amazon could become what it is today? Could he have started? Answer me in the comment question. Would he have started? And I can guarantee you that he may have had an idea about how big this thing can become, but he definitely did not see it. He started executing, and then Amazon became what it is today. So overthinking and perfectionism. Today, Amazon sells literally everything under the sun, but they just started with books. And the company is worth over 1.5 trillion. Isn't that a proof that overthinking, that execution beats perfection? Oh, Kelvin, thank you. So Kelvin said that Amazon started in 1994. Thank you very much. So second reason is overthinking and perfection. The third reason, which one of you had also mentioned on Facebook, the third reason is lack of clarity and knowledge. Lack of knowledge and clarity. So basically saying, I don't know where to start. I think this is a very common reason. Is anybody in that situation right now? You have an idea, but you don't know where to start. Type in the comment section, I am. Type I am in the comment section. And if you're watching the replay on YouTube, type I am in the comment section. Are you in a position, you have an idea, but what is stopping you is that you don't even know where to start? So most people have great ideas, but they get overwhelmed, as to where to begin. So that overwhelm. Okay. Emanuela also says that they fear that I'm old and that there might not be space for me. All right. So that's also part of fear. The fear that we mentioned, that's the first reason that we had mentioned. So the fear comes, in different ways. Some people fear they are old and then there might not be space for them. And fear is just what fear is, like somebody said, false evidence appearing right or something like that, false evidence appearing, something like that. So most of those fears are just figments of imagination. They don't have any basis in reality other than the basis you've given them, to stop you. But the moment you actually confront them, they collapse. Okay, I'm 59. Emanuela, I'm going to be 60 in a couple of months. In December, I'm going to be 60. Yeah, but there's space for me. I could have said like what I do right now, because every single month, millions of people read my content. Millions of people are changed. They read me every month. There was a month, 6 million people, some months, 2 million people, and then across social media. So you generally have like 5 to 10 million people who get exposed, to my content every single month. 5 to 10 million people. That's huge power. That's a huge audience across social media. And I have some TikTok videos that have gotten over 700,000 views, nearly 1 million views. So that's a lot. But I'm almost 60. So I could have said, oh, I'm old, there's no space, it's only for teenagers. No, who told you that only teenagers, Yeah, the older people actually have far more to contribute to the world than the young person. So that fear of being old, should not be there. Some other people actually fear that they are young. And then others fear that they are old. Kingsley, thank you very much. So Kingsley says, fear is false evidence appearing real. Fantastic. Thank you very much. That's what it is. Okay, so but we're talking about the number 3, which is lack of clarity, lack of knowledge and clarity. The people who say, I don't know where to start. Okay, so they get overwhelmed. And then sometimes people assume, oh, I need an MBA. I need an MBA to start. Or they say, they think I need expensive consultants. I faced that one. I need expensive consultants. Or they say, oh, I need many years of experience. I don't have experience. Who told you? So when I started, after I quit Shell, I felt, oh, I needed a consultant. And then I felt I needed a well-written business plan. And I wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars when money was money. I paid someone $500,000 when the naira was like under 10. How much was it at the time? Maybe the naira was under 15 naira to the dollar. That's when somebody charged me $500,000 to prepare a document, for me, which actually was totally useless. So I was doing something around jobs. So one of the first things I tackled was online jobs, getting people jobs, then having a website to do that. So I commissioned these guys and they charged 2 million. I paid them 500,000 and then didn't do the rest. And then up to today, I did nothing with that thing. Can you imagine what I would have done with that? 500,000 at that time was, even if it's like $50,000, that was a lot. Wasted it because I felt I needed a proper I needed a proper research, market research to do that thing. And then I got another friend in the bank at that time to now write this beautiful business plan that I never executed, not even one page. It had these nice graphs and then statistics about, industry and all that and all that. Very useless. So those things stop us because we overthink. And at the same time, we think that we lack knowledge. And then all those things introduce overwhelm. But, you just want to know what is the simplest number 1 step to take. Okay. So that is number 3. Lack of knowledge and clarity. So some people let that stop them. But see, even our own Dangote, when he started, he wasn't a billionaire. The guy did not start as a billionaire. He borrowed money from his uncle, to start trading. That's the one he knew, he understood at the time. He started trading sugar, started trading commodities, like salt. He didn't have all the knowledge. But he took knowledge, he took action, he learned as he was going, he expanded step by step. Today he's even into oil refineries, and then he keeps growing. And today he's one of, if not Africa's richest man. All right. So lack of knowledge and clarity was not an excuse. That's the point. He didn't stop him, and it shouldn't be your excuse as well. Okay. Fourth reason why people struggle with implementing their idea, turning their idea into income, is money and resource limitations. So people who say, I don't have the capital, and there's so many like that. How many of you here also feel that you lack capital? How many of you believe that your lack of capital is stopping you? Okay. Just say I, just type I in the comment section. How many of you believe that capital is what is stopping you from turning your idea into income? Type I. Okay. So many people actually think that they need a huge capital to start. But some of the biggest businesses started with very little or no capital. Just resourcefulness. So many times what you actually need is just to be resourceful, not capital. So you see what he's 85 now, but he turned 85. He turned 85. Oh, just last week or 2 weeks ago. My mentor, he said to me, when I was starting and I felt I didn't have huge capitals to scale, he said to me, but if you want to start a business, if you have capital, you buy and sell. But if you have money, you buy and sell. He said, if you don't have money, you sell and buy. And that's where the resourcefulness comes in. If you don't have money, buy and sell. And there's so many ways to implement buy and sell, because that was exactly what I did. I went and sold. Okay, so if you have money, you buy and sell. But I didn't have money, so I sold and bought. So I remember what I did. I went and sold a service to MultiChoice at that time. I went and sold a service. I created team building services, and I went and sold it. And they paid me upfront. They paid me 80% upfront. And that thing was an equivalent of $15,000 at the time. I didn't have capital. So lack of capital is not an excuse. If you don't have capital, then become resourceful. Then you need resourcefulness. If you don't have resource, use resourcefulness. Oh, that's a powerful quote. Type it in the comment section. If you don't have resource, apply resourcefulness. If you do not have resource, apply resourcefulness. Okay, but by all means, don't give that as an excuse. Okay. And of course, you see, I would like you to check out the story of Airbnb, how it started. Brian and Joe Gebbia, Brian Chesky, they couldn't afford the rent. I think there was a conference or so somewhere in California, so they decided to rent out an air mattress, this mattress, you pump air and then sleep in their apartment, to travelers who were coming for a conference and couldn't find a place. And that idea turned into $1 billion global company today. So those guys that started Airbnb proved that a lack of money doesn't mean a lack of opportunity. It just requires creativity. Okay, that's another thing I want you to type. Lack of money is not equal to lack of opportunity. Everyone, type it. So I want this session to be as interactive. Type it. And then those of you watching the replay on YouTube, type it. Lack of money is not equal to lack of opportunity. People always think, I don't know, for some reason, people think that both are the same. They are not. That you lack money does not mean that you lack opportunity. So when you have that understanding, then you know that all you need to apply to the situation is creativity. Okay? Lack of money is not equal to lack of opportunities. All right. And then the fifth reason is the wrong environment. So people say no support, no motivation. If you're surrounded by people who don't believe in you, you're in that kind of environment that's toxic, it's easy to start doubting yourself. Some of you come from families where you say to somebody, I'm going to do such and such a thing. and then your siblings, your uncles, and everybody just laughs at you and calls you crazy, you know. And then, but incidentally, many times it's the crazy people, who get things done. So if you're in an environment where people don't believe in your dreams, they don't, whatever, they're actually sabotaging you. So it could be a problem. It could be a problem. And then if you're in such an environment, it's not everything you discuss with everybody. There are ideas that people kill because they started talking about them. They just started telling everybody about it. It's not everything you tell so many ideas need to stay quiet, need to stay silent until they are born, and then until the time to talk about them. But many times we kill our ideas because we talk too much. We talk about them too early, too soon. And I think that may have happened to me a couple of times before I learned that you just need to shut up. It's not even everything you talk about until it is born. Okay? So many dreams die because of toxic environments. And somebody had mentioned something about her country. Helen said that her country does not support her dreams. Again, it calls for why there might be merit to that. It calls for a lot of wisdom, a lot of tact, and a lot of creativity. Because in that same country you think does not support dreams, there are other people who are dreaming and doing extremely well. So you need to think about what they are doing differently, what they have done differently to be able to, in spite of the difficult economy, to still be able to achieve what they're doing. And many of us are in the same country. And then we're able to do what we're doing regardless, of all the shenanigans, of your politicians, and then government policies, and then insecurity and things like that. Life goes on. Life goes on. Okay, so I think this is where we are going to land it today. Tomorrow, we're now going to talk about how to fix it. And then before you come tomorrow, I would like you to research the business model canvas and then just get familiar with it. So tomorrow's session is going to be very, very practical. And so if you have an idea that you haven't brought to life, that you haven't turned into income, that you haven't turned into a business, and then you want to do that, if you are the kind of person you've been having fear in your heart, uncertainty, fear of the future, fear of what will happen, or you've been doubting yourself. So tomorrow's session, we're going to deal with all that. We're going to talk about how to fix it, how to deal with all the challenges that have been keeping you from birthing your dream. And then I can guarantee you that after tomorrow, from the next day, many of you will be on your way running, with your business idea. You record significant milestones. And so until exactly this same time tomorrow, whatever happens, don't give up. Keep showing up, because you have no idea what's coming your way next